Welcome back to Lee Snyder Stadium. A special guest in the press box now, Miss Carrie Sumter with Dick's Sporting Goods. She's the marketing manager. And Carrie, tell us a little bit about your involvement in INFC football.
Yeah, absolutely. This is our 8th annual Dick's Sporting Goods Indian Nation Football Championship, and we're so excited to be a part of it. I love working with the youth leagues in this community. It's one of the reasons I took this job, and it's awesome what our company does for youth sports and how much we give back to the community.
Well, we obviously appreciate what Dick's has done, but so that the people out there get a little idea of what Dick's is able to do for our teams and everyone inside the INFC. Tell us a little bit about some of the giveaways that you do to start the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with high schools, they say that some public schools by 2020 will not have athletics. So we started the Sports Matters Foundation, where we have high schools and teams go and fill out grants. We also have our Donors Choose. If you're ever into one of our Dick's Sporting Goods stores, you can see at the register you have the option to donate $1 up to whatever you choose. All that money goes towards our Donors Choose program with Sports Matters. So the exciting part about that is that literally when you're at a Dick's Sporting Goods, at your local Dick's Sporting Goods, and you donate $1, it's going to go to someone here in the community. So that's great.
She's actually being a little bit modest. I wanted her to talk about some of the giveaways that Dick's does every year, so I'm going to do that for you. They supply footballs. They supply coaching bags. When we switch over to baseball, I know this lady supplies buckets that are full of baseballs, bats for our community, for our kids. Without Dick's Sporting Goods, as she mentioned, a lot of kids wouldn't have the opportunity to participate in sports because they wouldn't have the gear in which to do so. So I'm going to give you one last opportunity. Tell me just a little bit about what you see coming up in the future for Dick's Sporting Goods and youth football.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've already done as much as we could possibly do, here in the local community with all the sports. And lacrosse is big. We're seeing a big, huge growth in lacrosse. Football, we're going to continue to sponsor all the youth football leagues in town and all the other sports.
Well, unfortunately, they're winding us up.
Yes.
Apparently, we're going to kick off game number 2. Carrie, thanks so much for all you do for Indian Nations football. And thanks to Dick's, because every season starts with Dick's.
Absolutely.
Now, if you want to turn around, you can do the first part of the ball game with me.
All right.
The Tigers will kick it off. The Jenks Trojans will receive, and we're ready to go to work. 4th grade football. And I absolutely, finally have a partner in the booth that I'm proud of. The Trojans, that is, on the return, number 5, and look out, up the sidelines. Kayla Peterson. Peterson got loose inside the 20, 15-5. See you later, buddy. It's coming back.
That was a great run. Great run.
What a way to start the ball game off. He'll take it to the house, but again, 2 flags on the play. We have an illegal block in the back on the return team. That'll move him back to about the 30, and we'll go 1st and 10 Trojans when we come back. First time in the booth doing football?
First time in the booth doing football.
So probably for the first time in the history of me doing INFC football, I know I have somebody that I might be just a little bit better than because it's your first time. But if we're talking about selling sporting goods, then I'm going to turn that over to you. You were a little modest there earlier about what all Dick's does, and I know that that's your personality. You didn't get into the west side of the state, and we're going to touch on that just briefly, and then we're going to go to this ball game. But you're trying to open up the west side, which is going to help us with our vision.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, having some of the Oklahoma City area leagues come and join the INFC has just been amazing for the competition, and it's going to open up the Turnpike Championships from one side maybe to the other side.
First play of the ball game, simple handoff on the Trojans. The Tiger defense was there in a hurry, led by number 34 was there for the Trojans, and he'll make this tackle, or not for the Trojans, for the Tigers. Number 24, that's William III, or Jess Williams as the names are inverted on my program. The Trojans will start off with 3 in the backfield. They'll go to toss sweep to the gentleman who took it to the house on the opening kickoff, and he's into the secondary one more time, but a loose ball. Check the spot. Apparently the Trojans were able to get back on the football, so Will Ward for the Tigers turned him inside. Help showed up with number 2, Grayson Betts. Now, if you think I'm going to feed you questions all morning, jump in there. You know football as well as the rest of us do.
I mean, I try.
She said she tries. All right, the Trojans will come back to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10, and they'll put 2 in the backfield, split receivers, that is, to this side. And one more time, we're going to go back to a toss sweep. Kayla Peterson, he'll shake the first tackle in the backfield and pick up about 6. Hudson Arnold on the stop. 2nd down, 5. Apparently we're going to switch back to that guy to do the color and play-by-play with me, the marketing director for
Well, we'd like to
Sporting
thank
Goods.
Miss Sumter for stepping in up here. What a great job her and Dick's Sporting Goods have done here for INFC. I appreciate her taking my job. As she takes my job on the field, now she comes up into my press box and takes my job. I like to appreciate that as I applied for a job, and of course Miss Sumter already took the job, so I have no job. So here we are in the first quarter of the 4th grade game here in Lee Snyder Field. It's 3rd down and 7 at the own 43-yard line. As we talked about earlier, we had a kickoff and had an unfortunately penalty, but that kid took it to the house and he was fast.
Well, and you've seen on the 2 or 3 plays since then, it appears as though it's going to be no secret that the Trojans are going to try to ride Mr. Peterson this afternoon. Now we got to delay a game called on the Trojan offense, and that's going to move them back. And so we're going to have it 3rd down at about 12. What I was trying to say is Kayla Peterson.
Well, the upcoming games we have coming still left. We have Bigsby at the 4 o'clock game with TYA. We'll have Lauren Montgomery up here with Don for that game. Then we follow with Grove and Claremore Sequoia. And then I'll be back up with Coach Montgomery for the 7th grade game, Bigsby versus Jenks. Loose in the backfield is the quarterback, number 13, Jalen Cato. A couple flags on the play, and gets back maybe a yard or 2. But we got, like I said, we got a couple penalty flags.
Give me an opportunity as we go across the screen with the scroll. You can look at the starting lineups for the Jenks Trojans as we come back 3rd and long. And one more time, they're going to go to Peterson. Caleb up the sidelines, and one more time, look out! Peterson with foot race to the 30, 15-5, and with the opening kickoff, they will not catch him to the house. Jenks Trojans on top 6-0. Speed and getting to the outside.
Great job getting to the edge, as we talked about early.
Well, the Tigers had them backed up where they wanted them. They had them backed up basically 3rd down in a bunch is what I call it. They already cleared it off the clock, but it was 3rd down, and I think it was somewhere around 20 yards because there was 2 penalties that put the Trojans well behind the chains. Into the ball game, Maddox Young will bring the play in for the Jenks Trojans, and they'll line up for the point after. Maddox actually is the quarterback. And they'll go with the quarterback keeper. They'll jump in behind the offensive line. We'll look for the spot. I don't believe he got there.
Well, like I said, if speed kills, they got a penalty and got brought back the first time, but that time he got to the edge again, and 4:09 remaining in the first quarter. Jenks jumps out to a quick 6-0 lead.
And Luke Franks was the one that was able to thwart the extra point. And on the screen, you're able to see the Jenks Trojans starting lineup as Roscoe, Kayla Peterson, Luke McNally, Maddox Young for the Trojans. And we've switched over to the Tigers now, and head coach Richard Seo. They'll have out Hudson Arnold, Hunt Tigner, Bentley Brown, Alex Dana, Sonny Hicks, and Jesse Williams III, just to name a few of the BA Tigers on the starting group. Holding a 6-0 lead, the Trojans will kick it off. The Tigers looking to be on offense for the first time and back deep for BA. Grayson Betts will be back deep for the Tigers, and to kick it away for the Jenks Trojans, we'll set his number as soon as we can. The officials are now on both sidelines. They say we're ready to go. And in fact, here we go.
Kicked off loose at the 40-yard line. BA jumps on it. It'll be 1st and 10.
Hudson Arnold showed a heads-up play there for the BA offense as he'll jump on the football, and the Tigers will set up shop 1st and 10, ball at the 40-yard line. As we had our interview, we'd like to thank, as we always do, Dick's Sporting Goods, where every season starts with Dick's, and thank Carrie for coming up and sitting in for just a bit. She wasn't real comfortable doing the football, but she added the commercial break that talked about scholarship programs that Dick does, and that's so important to the youth, not only in Broken Arrow, but all of the INFC communities. Tigers set the bunch formation, and they'll just come with a quarterback keeper right up the middle. Charleston, big number 99, and number 8 were there, Luke McNally, for the Trojans to make the stop. And it's going to be 2nd down. 2nd and 8 for the Tiger offense.
Well, BA's awful big up front when I was watching them weigh in down there. And they're going to have to get that offensive line out in front as they run a bunch of guys in a phone booth, it looks like sometimes to me. When you get 11 guys and put them in that tight, you're trying to put 22 guys in a phone booth, but you try to find lanes to run.
So apparently Coach Seo thinks we're just going to go man on man.
And power it up. And he thinks his boys will win. And that's got to be the same formula they use throughout the whole season. So he's got confidence in it. The maroon shirts for the Trojans, we'll see what they can do on defense, as their coach has got 6 on the line of scrimmage and 3 linebackers. We're barely playing with D ends. Now the Tigers mix it up, and they'll come wide, and they've got a man in the secondary as well. That's number 6, Bentley Brown. Nice run there. Nice blocking off the right side, as we just talked about, trying to run it inside. Then they got something, and they were able to bounce it outside. So nice blocking on the edge.
Jackson Ayers actually did something that you'll see very few 4th graders do. They actually put Ayers in a pulling situation. It's
Here they are,
first
back
and
in
10.
a bunch again. Man in motion. And they run a counter back to the weak side. Tripped up in the backfield by, looks like, number 35. Tripped him up in the backfield, Cohen Miller.
Sparling Orr also in on the last tackle. Number 64 for the Trojans. 2nd down 5. Or more commonly called, it looks like 2nd down 7. Walk up will check out for the defense, and the Tigers look at 2nd down. Bentley Brown to the edge.
Gets down to the 37-yard line, where it'll pick up enough for another Tiger 1st down.
Tackle turned in by Kayla Peterson, the young man that got loose on the touchdown run. But the Tigers, as they did so often during the regular season, they're kind of a methodical offense. They like to pound on you. They like to take time off the clock, which is always smart. And then, as we talked about in the open, since the Trojans were not able to get their extra point, the extra points become so important. That's how the Tigers advanced on a 14-13 win in the semifinals to get here. 2 extra points versus 1.
Nice hard run up the middle again by number 2, Grayson Betts. picks up another 9 yards, and they have found something on the inside there as they continue pounding the inside of that offensive line, and that putting a lot of pressure on that interior defense.
McNally was there for the stop. He got some help there one more time from Maddox Young. Second and short for the Tigers.
Another counter off to the right side. Nice cut back by number 22, Preston Gudgel. I'll say that and butcher that another way. But nice run off the right side. Picks up enough for another Tiger first down as they've pounded off 3 first downs here as we close in the rest of this first quarter with 28 seconds remaining. And as Kevin Michaeloff winds the clock again, this will probably be the last snap
of the first quarter, absolutely. Kason Isham comes to the line of scrimmage. He'll anchor the Tiger line from his center position, and the Tigers will push everybody to the inside. And number 11 cut to the outside, inside the 5. Touchdown Tigers.
Nice play there by the Tigers. Way to draw that up and get them going one direction and bring it back. I can't overcome with the PA announcer over there. Obviously, this must be his first game ever to announce as he about jumped out of the window.
One of the things you could definitely see that play was set up by the Tiger offensive line. Everybody was blocking down, which gave you the first key. They were going to take it to the outside to the left. With a little misdirection, he got into the end zone almost untouched. Now the point after.
And there's the extra point, as you talked about, and that puts them up 7-6.
Well, the running back's going to get the credit, but you got to say hello to number 23, Luke Franks, as I watch on the replay. Franks with a nice block. Same thing goes to Mr. Holt, to 2 lead blocks, put him in the end zone, and just like that, by the point of an extra point, the Tigers are on top 7-6 with 3 seconds left in quarter number 1.
Kind of what we expected, back and forth, and I've heard nothing but good things about both these ball clubs. I know Coach Sayal went all the way down to Norman, had to play on the road Tuesday night or Wednesday night to pull out a 14-13 win, and I do believe Jenks had a same battle issue. I think they ended up pulling it by a little bit more than that, but both these teams come in and they're both very, very well coached, and I expect what you're seeing here in the first quarter to continue on the rest of these last 3.
Well, this Broken Arrow team was actually in the finals last season against the Bixby Spartan teams, and I think that ball game came down to a point or two, which the Spartans actually won that ball game. Tigers got a little bit of revenge. They drew the Bixby team in the first round of the playoffs, knocked them off, and that sets up some interesting rivalries throughout the rest of these boys' career here in the INFC, as we've got 3 or 4 teams that are really, really good in this grade.
Onside kick recovered by Taylor Smallwood for the Trojans. They'll take over 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line.
As you could probably hear bleeding over a little bit into the mics here in the press box, the Trojan fans are sitting on this side, so they occupy the home side of the scoreboard, and that'll take us to the end.
And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. Don, sorry to interrupt you, as now we're getting ready to head on to second quarter action. So we'd like to thank everybody. We'll come back here for the second quarter here at Championship Saturday, 4th grade action here at Lee Snyder Field. Stay tuned. We'll be back for the second quarter.
It takes enough. Down the line.
Good morning.
We're America's #1 sporting goods store, and we're always open. Every season starts at Dicks.com.
Don't forget about Indian Nations Lacrosse. Season begins in 2019. For more information, go to inyouth.lacrosse.com. Get all the information for the up-and-coming lacrosse, one of the biggest growing sports in the United States. That's inyouth.lacrosse.com.
So we come back into quarter number 2. The Trojans will have the ball right at the 50-yard line. Their second time on offense. As you recall, the first time they touched the football, they were backed up, and then they took it to the house. And look out one more time. The Trojans up the sideline. That's number 13. He got loose to the 5. Touchdown Trojans. Jalen Cato. We gave credit to the BA Tigers offensive front. Same thing has to be said for the big boys in maroon and white, as Cato was not touched till he got inside the 10-yard line. That's by extra effort for one of the Tigers, but couldn't get that ankle enough to bring him down. And we're 12-7 Jenks. Shootout coming up next.
After the 50-yard touchdown run, Diesel hits the ball to the point after. Flag will fly in to stop the play. Dead ball. Encroachment.
An encroachment on the broken arrow defense as the Trojans go on 2 on that play. That'll move them half the distance of the goal.
Trying to get that extra, that 1 point, whatever it takes.
Well, if we had an extra half a yard or a yard there on the first time that the Trojans tried their extra point, they would have been successful. Maddox Young has a word with the head coach, who is Cecil Henniger, and he'll call the play under center.
He's in, the extra point is good. And so, with
Jalen Cato.
7:49 remaining in the first half, brings the score. Jenks 13, Broken Arrow 7.
Starling Orr with a nice block. And as Richard talked about, we'll come back with a Trojan kickoff. Each grade we get a little older, a little bit more scoring, a little bit more open offense. Get a chance to look there briefly at the Trojan and Tiger cheerleaders on the sidelines. So don't forget, coming up at halftime, we'll have a halftime presentation for both the Lady Tigers and Lady Trojan cheerleaders. And as we talk about so often, the ladies have equal amount of contributions to INFC sports as the guys do, and we appreciate all the hard work that the cheer coaches put in, just as we do the football coaches.
Well, it looks like we had a missed kick, and it didn't touch a player, so it'll be a penalty. There'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers at the 47-yard line, as it's got to travel 10 yards, and looks like he just missed hit it trying for an onside kick.
Look, just a touch like one of my golf shots.
Yep, shank to the right. So, and I've seen Don play golf, and
it's not pretty.
It's not pretty at all. So here we are with 7:49 remaining in the second quarter. Can the Tigers answer back like they did their last series? Answered the Jenks touchdown. And here we go, 7:38, and it's counting down, and 1st and 10 at the Trojan 47-yard line. We have a timeout, referee's timeout against the Trojan defense, as we don't have enough men on the field. It don't look like. Nope, they only had 10. So here it is. Like I said, everything's a little sporadic. Everything's going. Everybody's all fired up. Kids aren't paying attention. Coaches sometimes aren't paying attention. Who's supposed to be out there?
Well, heads up play by the Trojan coaching staff there to recognize that. Of course, that's why you've got guys on the sidelines. They're counting noses, counting helmets, so they get the timeout. You don't want to play it down when you just took the lead. You don't want to play it down with just 10 players.
So like Don talked about, next ball game coming up will be your Bixby will be the first Bixby team play here on their home field at 4 o'clock, and Lauren Montgomery will be up here in the press box with Don, and they'll do that game me and Don will help with Coach Lauren and bring that game to you, and then we'll follow with the 6th grade game matchup, which really interests me, the Grove Ridge Runners and the Claremore Sequoia. Interesting matchup, two teams that haven't been here before that I remember. And then we follow with a great 7th grade matchup between Jenks and Bixby Red, 7th grade.
I had the pleasure one time of doing a Grove Ridge Runner game there in Broken Arrow. They're going to air it out some. They've got a quarterback that will impress you. Tiger quarterback, speaking of which, that's Grayson Betts. He on the quarterback keeper.
He gets around the right side and picks up about 3 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7.
Cato and Walkup on the tackle. Tigers look over a 2nd down and 7. Ball rests right about the 44-yard line.
Pickup of another yard. If you're noticing with that bunch lineup, watch the 2 interior defensive tackles. They're playing like a goal line defense, all 4s, submarine and down, so they can stop the pulling. That's how you stop it. You cause a pile in the middle and stop those guards and stuff from pulling, or they hopefully trip over you.
Well, Devin Whalen was instrumental in making the last stop for the Trojans. The Tigers
Bring
look
up
at
3rd down and 7.
Missed tackles will kill you every time.
Yeah, had him for a 4-yard loss. Squeezes out of it is number 11, Hudson Arnold.
And he'll work the ball all the way down to the 28-yard line. We all have to kind of stop and take a breath every once in a while. Mr. Excitement over there.
So they run out of bounds at the 28, be 1st and 10 for the Tigers. They do a lot of quick mixed direction handoffs in the backfield, like the old wing T. Now straight handoff up the middle, nice blocking inside as he gets down to about the 23-yard line.
Well, that's one thing it's one thing you can always count on with a Richard Co. coach team. They're going to pound on you a little bit. I know that 2 of his boys had an opportunity to play a little bit for the Broken Arrow Tigers. They were both offensive linemen. His oldest son was a skilled guy, so he's been around this program for a long, long time. He's going to eat clock with you.
Here it is, 2nd down and 5 at the 23-yard line. Hicks under center, hands off to Betts. Betts gets about a yard, maybe 2. It'll bring up 3rd down as we close in, under 5.5 minutes remaining until halftime.
That's Cohen Miller with a great play on the defensive end. Lowered his helmet. Could have had an unassisted tackle, but there was some hustle play by one of the linebackers, and he'll help out with the tackle. Kayla Peterson was also heading that way to help out. Tigers come to the line. 3rd down. Tigers will go back to the sweep right. Peterson does make a nice play, but Grayson Betts will move the chains for the Tigers.
This is going to be seesaw back and forth. Does it surprise you the way this day's gone, how this has already started up back and forth, back and forth?
This is Trojans and Tigers. It's supposed to be like that. We could have another Trojan and Tiger battle shaping up in the 6A high school finals as well.
If the Rams and Redskins don't have something to say about it. But one thing's for sure, it'll definitely be on the east side again, not the west. It'll be 23 years in a row it hadn't come to that side. Here's a nice run off the right side. Bring up 2nd down and goal down at the 6. Isn't that amazing, though? In 6A, there hasn't been a west side since 1995. 95.
Can you remember back in 1995?
They won back-to-back, and I can't remember if it was Edmond. Yeah,
Edmond.
Edmond Memorial.
So
won
last
back-to-back.
west side team to do it was Edmond. Jenks ended that run and then went on one of their own. And
Well, they
then
ran
Union
6 in a
stepped
row
up.
is all they did. And then Union said, I want to be invited to the party, and then they jumped in. But, yeah, here we are like you talked about. Broken Arrow Jenks doesn't surprise me if it's high school or if it's all the way down to the 4th grade.
3rd and goal from the 5.
Under 3.5 minutes. Boy, this half has been going by really, really fast. Looks like they're going to call timeout, run the clock down.
Well, and again, that's a smart play by a coach.
He's just going to run the clock. He knows he's got to play. Now it's going to be 3:04 remaining in the first half. Please stay tuned at halftime as we'll have cheerleaders performing from both squads.
We'll also go down on the field, as we always do, to get the perspective from both the coaches. We'll kick it down to Elise Wade, as she'll first probably go over and talk to Coach CO for the Tigers. And
Upcoming up next, we talked about, it's going to be Bulldogs. They've made their first presence today. Usually a little late for them to the party, but they'll go against the Bigsby Spartans that they've had great matchups over the last 3 or 4 years here at Lee Snyder Field. So it's good to see the Bulldogs in. Kind of surprised, though, this is the first time we see them and the only time we see them. Just shows you the comparity of the league has gotten all across the INFC.
Well, just 1 year ago, as we were calling these games, I think it was every age group but 2 had a Bulldog represented. And a couple of the age, it was Bulldog against Bulldog. Now, remember, they don't even have a 7th grade team.
So you take that out. But they had 2 5th grade teams that were in the finals here last year, and neither one of them made it in 6th grade.
So the Tigers, as we talked about, coach has the timeout, chance to talk to his troops. They'll come back out. We've got the officials replaced and ready to go. And with 3:04 left in the first half, the Tigers knocking on the door for a tying 6 points.
Inside handoff, nice play, and he's going to get into the end zone. That's a great play. That's incorrect.
Grayson Betts, one of the times where it was absolutely, you almost didn't even see little Betts till he popped out the other side.
Yeah, great job, though, going one direction. Misdirection's been there.
Little slide of hand by the Tiger quarterback there.
Well, here's the extra point, right?
Yes, sir.
13-13.
Well, the Tigers scored twice. In Norman, were able to convert both times on the extra point. The quarterback, he says, you guys are in the wrong position, because he wanted to give the ball back to Betts. Betts lowers his head. Can he spin in there?
He gets in there.
I got the nod from the
Extra point is
official.
good.
Mr. DiNardo says it's good, and the Tigers are back up on top by 1.
14-13, 2:57 remaining. Back and forth like a tennis match. Serve, volley, volley, volley. Who's going to put out the knockout punch? That's what we're waiting on.
Well, 2 different styles of offense. You can see that the Broken Arrow team, they're content with being a little bit methodical, setting some things up, doing a little bit of misdirection. And the Trojans, they're quick hitters. They're trying for the bigger play, and they've hit a couple of them. After all, they've actually been in the end zone 3 different times. One of them was called back from a penalty, as one of the Trojan coaches has some words to say to not only a couple of his players, but asked one of the officials where they were all going for dinner after the ball game. And we'll set up for a Tiger kickoff. Jackson Ayers will bring the tee out for the Tigers. He'll spot it at the 40, and he'll kick it away for Broken Arrow Tigers, up 14-13.
Let's go, Caleb. Time to turn it in. Jackson Ayers. Didn't expect to kick off for Broken Arrow.
So now does Coach CO kick it deep, or do something tricky with an onside kick here?
to be
I'm
first
not exactly
and
sure that's
all
what they
offsides.
had designed for him to do. But the Tigers may catch a break there because they were actually offside. So we'll back them up 5 and kick it one more time.
The call was we had an offsides before he swung and missed or just barely kicked the ball.
Yeah, some of the fans here were thinking that
Get
Trojans
it to
would
ball at
have
the
the
43.
choice on that, but that's not the case on the kickoff because the penalty happened before he made contact
Which is
with
the
the
reason
football.
why you have offsides. Right.
Yes, sir.
So they'll kick it from the 35, and I'm sure he's going to kick it deep, and he does. And already he's changed field position.
That ball's going to roll all the way inside
Down
the
to
20.
and he downs it at the 19. You talk about going from the 43-yard line. You lost 34 yards, 37 yards, I do believe. 38 yards. They lost 38 yards on the kickoff field position. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Trojans at their own 19-yard line. And guess what? That clock's going to get wound up.
Well, and Kayla Peterson, you can't really blame him because how
No.
many times do you holler at kids, get on the ball, get on the ball? He doesn't have any idea that there's not somebody right there ready to try to take the ball from him. And the moment he did it, you could tell he kind of got up and thought, oh, man, I probably should have ran this.
First down and 10. Trojans at the 19-yard line.
Of course, the Trojans are going to try to do their best to get Peterson back out on the wing. As sure as I said that, they go a direct snap to him, and they've got something working up the sidelines.
Nice run out to the 46-yard line by Peterson.
Preston Gudgel, he will save a touchdown on that play. And he's probably a little bit shaken up. I'm not sure he's going to be able to stay in the ball game. And just as I say that, he
He's
steps
tougher
up
than
in
you
his
are.
position. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you knew that.
Yeah, that's Preston Gudgel.
We're back almost to the 50-yard line. First
Bring
and
up
10.
first and 10 for the Trojans. Pass complete down to the 40. Flag on the play, though. Flag will come back.
Well, I'm glad I didn't open my mouth because I thought what the Trojans were going to do right there is go bunch to the right with 3 receivers and then run in behind it. But they fooled me completely. And a nice pitch and catch from the 4th grade team. But we do have a penalty on the play.
So the penalty will be against the Trojans. Back them up 5. Bring up first down and 15.
The way I can kind of see that, the way Kevin's pointing and the question that the coach asked him, it's all about the fact that we had a big boy on that side of the line. Uncovered. And that happens when you run a bunch to this side. Sometimes they forget you have to put another receiver on the other side because you can't leave the big boy uncovered. So after the penalty, the Tigers
Be
will
first
set
and
up.
15, and they've lost 27 seconds off the clock because they started it. And by the time they snap it,
So now they're in a situation where there's possibility to get it too much time, but
well, and the thing is, they started the play at 1:49, and they ran off 31 seconds before he started it to get the clock running. I'm sorry, 24 seconds off because it was 1:42, and they called timeout as they about to hit 25-second mark, and they have wasted a lot of time not moving the football when they hit that big play, and now they're not moving the football. So when we remember to stay at halftime, we'll have the Jenks and Bigsby cheerleaders performing. And then, of course, we'll have great second half action. And stay tuned as we'll have 5th grade matchup will be the Bigsby Red Spartans against TYA Bulldogs.
that'll be the first opportunity I'll have to work with Coach Montgomery this season. And in case we don't get a chance to do it while he's up here, which I hope I don't forget, but we always like to make sure that we give credit to Coach Montgomery, not only for his work with us here on Championship Saturday, but for all his commitment to the INFC football in general and Bixby youth football.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the few coaches. I know a few of them around that are definitely heavily involved with what goes on. Coach Bernard over at Stillwater, he's the president of Stillwater youth football. So they understand what feeds their system, and they do a good job interacting with the youth in the community. Here we go, first down and 15, direct snap. We got a block on the edge. Is he going to be able to cut it back up? He does. And no one, and he could be loose. And we got another block again, and we got another missed tackle. And he's going to be brought down inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line.
Will Ward was the one that was able to finally bring him down.
Nice blocking out there at the wide receiver as they get down to the 9. Nice run by number 13, Jalen Cato.
Now watch 5 with the first block. Now here comes another one out front.
We're down under 1 minute to play.
57 seconds.
Nice cut. He's going to be short. He'll be down inside to 1. Will bring up second down and goal. But that's fine. You're going to run the rest of the time off.
In fact, you don't have to worry right here really about hurrying too much because like Rich just said, I mean, he's down all the way to the 1-yard line. In fact, the Tigers may elect to take a timeout.
That was Jenks. Jenks called timeout.
You know, I've got 43 seconds to go, and I've got second down. I'm not sure I'm calling timeout there, but
hey,
then again.
That's why they pay us to stay up here, and that's why they don't get paid and they stay down there. So, reminder of what's coming up. Don't forget, we've got TYA Bulldogs and the Bixby Red 5th grade Spartans. Got Claremore Sequoia Eagles against the Grove Ridge Runners.
And the Jenks Trojans in the 7th grade game. That'll be Coach Montgomery and Richard Stickney doing the Jenks Bixby shootout in the 7th grade. Don't forget, as we've shown you the promo a couple times today, it's time to think about signing up for youth lacrosse, and you can do that real simply by going to inyouth.lacrosse.com. As we've talked about, one of the fastest growing sports in the nation. Also tune in at halftime as Elise Wade will have interviews with both coaches to talk about this exciting first half. Second down and goal for the Trojan offense.
Now we got Broken Arrow calling timeout.
So both teams understand how important this touchdown could be, as the Tigers are hoping to get to the break, obviously up by 1, and the Trojans are looking to take the lead with just 43 seconds left. You know, as I can remember back, I don't know how many years ago, we used to do these championship finals and at Union, and we had it set up. We didn't have enough teams, so we had it set up so we did the playoffs and then the championship finals all in one day. And as you mentioned earlier, it's just kind of a statement on how far this program has grown, because we have 3 different sites that are hosting championships today. The Jenks Maroon offense again comes to the line of scrimmage. Second down, goal from inside the 1 as their fans try to fire up the offense. Charleston will be the fullback on the play, and you can bet he's going to lead number 5 up in there.
Nice defense. He didn't get there. Charleston seemed to have ran by, and he hurt his foot. And that's their speedster. Yep.
You don't ever want to speculate, but that could be a game changer, because that's a big part of the Trojan offense right there.
That
He's
speed
gone
guy,
to the
he's the
house
one that's
twice.
taken 2, yeah. Well, hey, we'll be right back after this media timeout, as we've got an injured player. We'll be back for the more of the second quarter action in just a minute.
roar back in just a minute. Welcome back to Lee Snyder Stadium. Welcome back to the final 34 seconds of quarter number 2. We're in the 4th grade game, in case you missed it. We've already had a 2nd grade shootout that actually went into overtime, double overtime, as my partner points out to me. And then the 3rd grade ball game that we did, that was an exciting one as well, as someone scored with less than 30 seconds left on the clock to win that ball game, and that was the Stillwater Pioneers.
Yep, what a great ball game that was. Now here we are, time's running, 30 seconds remaining.
Ball gets knocked
Fumble
loose.
and recovered by Broken Arrow. Great job by the defense as they forced the turnover, and he never got it, and that's what happens when you change.
On the recovery, big number 54, Kayla Peterson.
You know, that's the 2nd play in a row that number 64, Tate Mathis, has actually caused havoc into the backfield, because he was able to make penetration into the backfield, which didn't allow the play really to get off the way the Trojans wanted. Now all they've got
Now they got to get out of here because they can get a safety and all of a sudden be behind.
Yep, that's all you have to concentrate on, and that's what I'm sure the coach is telling him. Hey, well, the Tigers will take a timeout, and this may be exactly why, as Richard talked about, can't give up a safety here, so take timeout, go over, call your safest play, something simple, dive play, whatever, just get it, and we're going to go to halftime. Halftime will be full of cheerleaders and interviews, as Elise Wade is down getting set up right now with her cameraman. I think I was wrong a while ago. I think they always do the home coach first because he's closer. Then she'll talk to Coach CO, get their perspective of how the first half unfolded, see what they think will be in the works for second half. But 3 ball games out of the gate, I don't know we could have more excitement.
What a great way to start off the Saturday. It's just starting to warm up a little bit. I think it's finally got up to 30 degrees. So that's moving real good. And it's, with that going on out there and the wind's blowing around and it's football season and it's November and it's, you know, you think Thanksgiving time. This is what football's all about this time of year. And like I said, it's very enjoyable to be out here. And if this is anything of what's going on, these next 3 ball games after this one ought to be pretty impressive. So here we go. First down and 10 at the 2-yard line.
25 seconds left. Tigers are just thinking, hey, I've got to get it out of the end zone, and we'll go to the break. We'll talk about it and come out next. Richard said, how about a quarterback sneak, and that's what they do.
Now it'll run is probably because no one's going to call timeout because they don't have enough timeouts to burn it out. And Broken Arrow said, you know what, we'll take a 14-13 lead, and that'll be the last snap. I guess not. They'll snap it and do it again.
Which, again, that was a little surprising on that one, why they even bothered to snap it, because we saw a fumble on the Jenks side, but we will indeed go to the halftime break.
They probably snapped it to get plays in.
Well, that's...
You know what I'm saying? They probably snapped to get the plays in, knowing that, hey, we can get 2 quick plays in, and that's what we're doing right there. So we're about ready to go to break, and it'll be a halftime of enjoyment entertainment, so stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly to see the cheerleaders performing at halftime.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everyone for coming and sharing this time with the family here this afternoon.
Stay strong. See you at the field. You want to finish? Go finish for him. Go finish for your grandfather right now. Yes, sir. Everybody with him? Sir.
Okay, I'd like to welcome us back. And we're going to go down to the field for the cheerleaders as they perform. It'll be up first will be your Broken Arrow cheerleaders.
Introducing first, Allison, Allie, Ariel, Avia, Riley, Talia. Yasara. Jazzy. Josie. Juliet. Carly. Lauren. And Violet.
Great job to the Lady Tigers, and now down field side to Elise with a coach's perspective.
Joining me now is Coach Henniger from the Jenks Trojans. Coach, you guys are down 1 point going into this next half. What message are you sending your boys to get them ready?
We're sending the same message we've sent all year. We can do hard things, we can overcome, and just keep doing what we do and just keep fighting till the very last minute.
We talked a little bit earlier about the character that you're trying to build with these boys, both on and off the field. What are you doing to push them towards that?
Well, that's one of the most important things we try to do by bringing them up at Jenks is basically teaching the character that to keep doing every play as best as they can, overcome mistakes, and just get back in there and keep going and pick yourself up.
Where do you see this game taking us now?
It's going to be the same as with first quarter. It's going to be a fight all the way to the end, back and forth, and we're going to see who comes out at the end.
All right, well, I look forward to seeing that, and good luck and congratulations on a great first half.
Thank you very much.
Now we'll go back down to the field to conclude the halftime presentation from the Jenks Trojan cheerleaders.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 2018 fourth grade cheer squad.
It's just a failed onside kick.
Alyssa Brooks. Madison Corona. Elena Saxon. Emma Johnson. Gregory Williams. Shania Armstead. Jacqueline Beal. Julia Fleck. Olivia Baker. Coached by Emma Santana and sponsored by Alan Williams.
back with more football. And this from Dick's Sporting Goods.
It takes enough. Down the line.
Good morning.
We're America's #1 sporting goods store, and we're always open. Every season starts at Dicks.com.
Thanks a lot. That's halftime. We're back to Lee Snyder Stadium, the home of the Spartans, of course. Now back down to Elise, as she'll have Coach Co for the Broken Arrow Tigers.
Coach, how are you feeling about the game so far?
Doing well, doing well. It's going to be whoever has the ball last probably going to win this thing.
Are you telling your boys anything different to prepare for this next half? You started so strong in the very beginning.
No, we're just going to keep playing. Tell them to have fun, just play, and, the winner will be crowned at the end of it.
So finish strong and enjoy the game is the name of the game,
Yep,
huh?
that's it. Just enjoy it.
All right, well, good luck to y'all.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Elise, and we're back to football action. Second half is just around the corner. The Broken Arrow Tigers looks like they'll receive the second half kickoff, which obviously means the Jenks Trojans will kick it off to start the second half. And we know that's true because if you'll recall in the opening kickoff, the Tigers watched the Trojans take it to the house, but there was a penalty that brought it all back. About 3 plays later, the Trojans went to score. We traded touchdowns since then, but the difference in the ball game is 2 extra points for the Tigers and only 1 for the Trojans. And Rich, second half, it's underway right now.
Kickoff goes down the middle of the field, touched by a couple of Tigers. Picked up by Betts. He finds a couple blockers around the right side and returns it out to the 35-yard line.
Ball's loose.
And we're going to say recovered by the Trojans, but they're calling him down.
Cash Crandall will have the football, but as Richard said, the point goes towards the Broken Arrow Tigers as Betts' knee was down before the ball came loose. I think that was a good call by the guys in black and white.
Yeah, good call by the Italian stallion out there, Mr. DiNardo.
Not touching that line.
And it'll be first down and 10 at the Tigers' 35-yard line.
You're going to see probably more of the same from the Tigers as you do for in the first step. They just want to pound on them.
Here comes a little misdirection. Just missing tackles in the backfield. And I want to say they stripped it out of his hands.
But a flag will come in later.
Ball on the play.
We got a flag, we got a ball, every personal foul, face mask against the Trojans. So therefore there goes the turnover.
And that's the 15-yard variety and not the 5-yard.
The 50-yard line.
The Trojan fans are saying that, well, we came away with the football, but what they're forgetting is that personal foul. We have a penalty. That's going to take that play out. So it's first and 10 Trojans. No, it's not. First and 10 Tigers ball at the 49-yard line.
Right off the middle.
Kind of like a wing
Pick
tee.
up a couple yards, bring up second down and 8.
It's almost like that old wing tee offense where you just jump in behind.
Timeout for injury.
Turns football kind of into like a little rugby scrum, but we do have one that's down, and the Trojan coaches will come out to survey that situation.
Well, hey, while they're dealing with the injured player on the sideline, we'll go to break and we'll be right back with third quarter action.
As a mother of 3, I've seen the positive impact sports have on kids. At Dick's Sporting Goods, we believe everyone should have the chance to play. And if cost ever gets in the way, that goes against everything we believe. If you find a lower price from a competitor, we'll match it with our best price guarantee. Because it's not enough to offer you the best gear. We need to offer it at the best price.
Well, we're right back to action here. We'll bring up second down the 8 as the injured player looked to be number 58, Joshua Lewis, gets helped off the field. It'll be second down and 8 for the Tigers in Trojan territory.
You know, much like we saw in game number 1, as one of the young men comes off and the coach pats him on the helmet, so I'm going to bet you that he'll probably be back in the next play or two. So, moms, as I always say when I'm doing the games in Broken Arrow on a Saturday, moms, you can breathe easy. I don't believe he's truly hurt. Just a little shaken up on the play. Second down for the Trojans, or actually for the Tigers. They have it second down 8.
Got a flag on the play.
It looks like that was going to
Miller
come
on
back.
the tackle.
Holding on the offense.
It'll be holding at the 35, holding against the Tigers to back them up 10.
Holding. Get Broken Arrow. It'll be a 10-yard penalty.
Bring up third down, I do believe.
Well, we've talked about it in the first 2 ball games, staying in front of the chains and not behind them. That penalty could be very costly for the Broken Arrow Tigers if they can't pick up the first down and do have to punt. Hudson Arnold with a big run and a first down, Tigers.
Nice run by number 11. That'd be Arnold, Hudson Arnold. His dad was a real good defensive end at Broken Arrow and went on to play at that time, Northwest Missouri State. Northwest Missouri State. Now it's just Missouri State. And it'll bring up enough for a first down at the Trojan 37-yard line. And a touch here by Broken Arrow and the extra point.
That's
and
big.
I haven't seen anybody kick. That puts 2 down, 2 scores. Straight power handoff, and nice job by Miller as he breaks it up in the backfield, pushes the lineman back into the running back. Nice job by number 35, Cohen Miller.
And then Sparling Orr was there to finish the tackle off for the Trojans, and the Tigers will look over a second down and 10.
Inside handoff.
Kate Hodges and company on the tackle. He'll get some help from Lewis. Number 12 was also there to help out. That's Dak's walk up. Third down.
Get down 3rd and 6. Broken Arrow's definitely in 2 down territory, so just try to get 3 to 4 yards here.
Well, the Tigers offense has showed the ability to use a little power, and then they can do misdirection too. So the playbook's open for them.
Nice blocking on the edge.
That play is one of the.
They ran a trap play and got blown up. The outside linebacker came in there trying to seal. Next thing you know, a blocker gets a pancake, and Arnold takes the ball down inside the 23-yard line, where it's enough for a first down.
And the clock works inside of 4:30 in quarter number 3. And as Richard said just a little while ago, if the Tigers can convert here, put 6 on the board plus the extra point, that's going to make it tough for the Trojans.
Nice tackle by number 13, Jalen Cato. But he gets down the 18, picks up 5, and guess what that clock's doing?
Cato just kind of lit Betts up, but Betts was lighting up. I think he was able to kind of
ricochet off of him.
Fall forward for another 2.
Looked like a little trampoline effect, bounced off of him and got another 2 yards. But we're now under 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, and Broken Arrows just ate up the clock.
Sonny Hicks has done a good job of distributing the ball without turning it over. They'll go back to Betts, and he's hit immediately right at the line of scrimmage. Cohen Miller.
16-yard line, yeah.
It's Miller kind of scraped down the line of scrimmage and hit Betts before he could get going. 3rd down, 5. Ball at the 16-yard line. Tigers again will kind of go with a little
gets down
wide.
to 13, where it looks like he picked up enough for a first down. And they're going to burn another minute off the clock.
And you're exactly right. As Mr. Metcalf gave the signal from behind the pile there, as both the line judges said that it was enough for the first down, and Richard pointed it out. The drive for the Tigers will continue, and so too does the clock.
Closing down on 2.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter as they took over with 6 minutes and 11 seconds. Now we just got a flat quarterback sneak, and great blocking by the offensive line as the great surge as they scoot him all the way back.
Luke Franks. If they show it again, watch the block of Mr. Franks. Now we have an injured player. So we have a timeout on the field as the Jenks coaches have an opportunity.
Great surge by the offensive line inside.
They only picked up 3 on the play, but again, 3, and that's all they need. Clock keeps running. You keep making first downs. We'll be back with more INFC Championship Saturday right after this from Dick's Sporting Goods.
It takes enough. Down the line.
Good morning.
We're America's #1 sporting goods store, and we're always open. Every season starts at Dicks.com.
Next matchup will be Bixby Red, 5th grade, against TYA Bulldogs. That'll be our 5th grade matchup. Bixby's been in the championship game this is their 4th year in a row. Bixby's been in the championship game, this age group, or this team. They've won 2 and lost 1, and they're trying to go 3 out of 4. And of course, you know, it won't be no easy hurdle going against the Bulldogs.
Well, we talk about how much speed is a factor in youth football, so you know Bixby will see the speed from TYAA. The Tigers come back. Betts wants to get it to the outside, and he will.
That's number 8 on the carry, Luke McAnally.
He's going to be run down.
I'm sorry, that was Betts. Good call. I thought it was number 8.
And Peterson for the Trojans will run him down on the edge.
Good to see Peterson back in. Was that number 5 back in the game?
Yes, sir.
Good to see him in after he injured his leg early, and that was probably why they weren't able to score, because he injured his leg and they come in and hand it off to a new running back and they put the ball on the ground. So good to see him back in the ball game. So here we are, 3rd down and 4. Another handoff, quick handoff inside, nice cut and nice blocking, but I think he could have cut it back in. But he gets down the 1-yard line where it'll be 1st and goal from the 1, and they're going to run off another 30, 45 seconds.
The Tigers have got that play down to an art where he actually hands the ball off to Gudgel. And Gudgel will hand it back,
number 23's
right,
backside.
to
he walks in the end zone, doesn't get
Hudson
touched.
Arnold.
Well, here we go. They're going to run more clock. Look, they're going to get all these kids plays. And they're going to run the clock down. And by the time, if they score on this play, it'll be under a minute or right around a minute mark. And they would have the ball for over 5 minutes. Right now, they've had the ball over 5 minutes.
Brennan Mays in at the offensive line for the Tigers. And the Tiger quarterback goes right straight up
for
the
the
middle.
touchdown. Nice call by Broken Arrow offensive coordinator. And he just goes with the quarterback sneak. And let's see if we got him called in. Yep. And let's see if we got any flags or anything.
No, one of the officials dropped his beanbag. I mean, does that mean we got a loose football there? Nope, that was a flag. We do have a flag on the play.
So here we go for the extra point. It is a touchdown.
Well, I haven't seen a signal from anybody yet. But I didn't see a mark off a penalty either. And they're still showing 1st and goal, so I wonder if they blew it dead before the snap because someone... Well, here we go again. Same play to the other side.
Extra point's no good, so they'll decline it. I'm going to guess that holding. So we did have a touchdown. We did have a touchdown. Then we had the extra point.
That penalty will be declined. And the point after 6 is no good.
So here we are, 56 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Broken Arrow goes up 20-13, but stopping that extra point was critical. So 56 seconds remaining. Stopping that extra point was huge because now they can still stay within just one score and be able to tie the ball game up.
Well, we said it in the opening. Extra points could be the difference in this because had, as you just said, had the Trojans not stopped that extra point, then they'd have to score twice with only 1 quarter left in the ball game to avert defeat. So the Tigers will kick it off. Now remember, the Tigers do have the ability to kick it deep if they should choose. Looks like they have a different kicker out there this time. Will Ward will tee it up for the Tigers, so we may be trying a little onside kick this time. The Trojans are still shuttling players on and off, so ball's juggled, it's still loose.
But Mr. Peterson has it, and he gets out to the 44-yard line.
I'm quite sure that's not exactly who Coach Co wanted to kick the ball to.
There's a good chance I don't ever want him touching it.
If he'd have slipped one more tackle, he could have been off to the races again, but it is nice, as Richard talked about earlier, it's nice to see that Kayla Peterson's back in the ball game. Obviously the leg is sealed up because that's a tackle that he's made on the edge, and now a nice return. 1st and 10 for the Trojans.
Got loose in the
Jalen Cato for a 1st down.
Cato, nice run.
Kind of took a little bit of a play out of the Tiger playbook there as they kind of did a little misdirection coming back to the other side.
And it will be a Jenks Trojan touchdown.
1st and 10, Jenks at the Tiger 43-yard line. Toss sweep to Peterson, looking for a block, but there's a lot of Broken Arrow guys out there. Great job making a mess.
Holy goodness, talk about 2nd and 3rd effort. Peterson got loose. Then, as Richard talked about, we had a lot of black out there. He shook those tackles, and he'll move the chains. 1st and 10.
And that'll bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter of play. So after 3 quarters of play, we've got the Jenks Trojans 13, and we got the Broken Arrow Tigers 20. When we come back, it'll be 1st and 10 for Jenks. So we'd like to thank everybody for joining us so far. Please stay tuned for some 4th quarter action. It ought to be a barn burner. We'll see you back shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everyone for coming and sharing this time with the family here this afternoon.
Stay strong. See you at the field. You want to finish? Go finish for him. Go finish for your grandfather right now. Yes, sir. Everybody with him? Sir.
I'd like to welcome everybody back here for the fourth quarter action in the fourth grade matchup between the Broken Arrow Tigers and the Jenks Trojans. When we come back right now, we're about to start 1st and 10 for the Trojans at the Tiger 28-yard line.
Talked about ball control. The Tigers had it most of the third quarter. Now the Trojans want to turn the tables and go score in a hurry. First pass of the afternoon.
And he gets through. Broken Arrow's just not doing a very good job of wrapping up. And great second and third effort as he broke about 4 or 5 tackles and gets an extra couple yards, and it'll bring up, it looks like, 2nd down and 4. Tackling's got to be an issue for Coach Sales. He's seeing that 2 or 3 plays now, they had him there to make the play and just don't seem to make it.
You know, Caddo shook off 2 tackles. The first couple were well behind the line of scrimmage where the Tigers were hunting a loss on the play, but extra effort by the quarterback. Maddox Young will bring the next play into the ball game as Grayson Fisher hustles off. 2nd and about 5 with crawling down to about 7 minutes, and they tried a little misdirection.
Big play by number 87, Jackson Ayers, as he just barely gets the handoff and gets stuck in the backfield.
Play in the backfield. Brings up 3rd down.
Ayers was the first one to put a helmet on him, then Gudzel kind of cleaned it up, but I believe someone might have, they either whiffed on it or they just didn't block because, as you said, the big boy was back there in a hurry.
Almost took the handoff. Well, here we are, 3rd down and 5. Yep, 3rd down and 5. 6.5 minutes remaining. And if you're Jenks, you want to score here because not only behind, but now you're worried about Broken Arrow running 5 minutes off. Could they do it again? Back to pass. Pass is complete, but they don't make the tackle. Miss again.
What a spin move into the end zone. Mr. Caddo to the house, young man.
And that brings it to score to 20-19. And now here comes that big extra point.
Number 8, Hunter for the Tigers, kind of got caught in no man's land. He didn't know whether he should maybe step up and try to make the interception or should he make a really big tackle. And what happened is the receiver kind of spun out of him, so he actually didn't get either of things accomplished, either of those accomplished, and Cato put it in the end zone.
Well, here we go. We could be having our next overtime game, as we didn't know exactly what was going on in the first couple. This could be another overtime game as if they get this extra point with 6:12 left. Still plenty of time, though. But it just shows you the kind of ball games we've had already today.
Maddox Young used the hard count successfully. The Tigers bid on it. And as Richard talked about now, the extra point's going to be at about the 1.5-yard line. Is there a 1.5-yard line?
Well, there is now that you said it, but usually they'll be right outside the 1-yard line is what we say, Don, in layman terms. And running a sweep, I'm not quite sure if he can get to the edge, and he does. Extra point is good, and
speed on that one.
There's a lot of speed there, and he gets to the edge, and it's all tied up at 20. What a ball game we have here with 6:12 remaining in the fourth quarter. Jenks drove down the field and punched it in, and then hit the big extra point, and it's 20-20 now. Broken Arrow's got to answer.
Next game weigh-in for the 5th grade championship.
So now the Broken Arrow Tiger offense cannot be conservative, as Rich said, because we're now tied up, so they've got to try to go score. But yet, at the same token, they probably would be happy if they could burn 4 or 5 minutes off the clock before they score. Now do the Trojans kick it deep, or do they come back with their own kind of pooch onside kick? Like Maddox Young will kick it away for the Jenks Trojans. And here we go.
The kickoff gets down inside the 25 to the 21, and he just falls on a 21, so good job on the kickoff. So it's going to be a long return.
Broken Arrow will come back onto the field, 1st and 10. Number 21.
So that actually was not who I thought it was that kicked it off.
Number 81, Taylor Smallwood, looks like, I think, is who the
Absolutely, very effective weapon, as we talked about, because that pins the Tigers back all the way down to the 21-yard line. So now it's very important they pick up a first down, and even probably more important, you've got to stay away from the turnovers, because you could turn it over deep in Trojan territory.
There goes a quick handoff, and he gets through and darts through out to the 27-yard line, picks up about 6 yards, and that's what they're going to do. If Richard team does what he wants to do, they're going to pound the ball and use almost all the game clock and score with under 30 seconds, if that's what he wants to do.
Well, and that's smart football. You just got to trust that you've got enough time, because you do, as you said, you've got over 5 minutes. You can't turn it over, because that would be a disaster, but you got to keep the chains moving. Jalen Caddo showed up in a hurry. Now one of the Trojans, that's Cade Hodge, was pointing at the ball, came loose. That brought the Jenks Trojans crowd to their feet, and apparently there was a fumble. I'm not sure there was a fumble as much as I think he just got his pocket picked.
Well, we had the big turnover for the Trojans. 20-20, 5 minutes and counting.
Now, if you're a Broken Arrow Tiger fan, you've got to hope the defense can bow their back, because the Tigers.
Oh, no. And look who it is. And they hit Mr. Peterson
inside the 3, touchdown, Trojans.
And they struck quickly. But the thing is, they gave Broken Arrow a lot of time to have a chance to go back down and score.
Now what becomes important again,
extra point.
Say it every game, saw it at the opening, extra point, because if the Trojans can punch this in, then the pressure stays on the BA offense, because not only do they have to go score, then they have to make the extra point.
And he's across before he scores. He's across, and the extra point is good.
Well, Kayla Peterson's been in the end zone a bunch, because as we recap the ball game, he actually took the opening kickoff to the house, but thanks to a penalty, that one came back. Then he scored the Trojans' first touchdown of the afternoon. He scored that touchdown and the extra point. The boy has a little bit of speed. Now, do you use the same approach on your kickoff as you did last time? I know I would. Let's kick it deep.
And now Coach Sayles, they got unsportsmanlike conduct against the Broken Arrow, sideline warning.
against Broken Arrow.
If you're not woke up, you're woke up now. They're getting fired up out there now. Kickoff goes back, and it's recovered by Arnold as he gets the ball and returns it out to the 42-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers.
Grayson Fisher with a huge tackle on the return. Well, we talked about it that the 4th grade Broken Arrow Tigers were in this championship game last year and came away disappointed. Now they're going to have to
battle back,
hope to get to overtime because they find themselves down by 7 with 4:20 left in quarter number 4. Daxon Walkup thought that coach was taking him out of the game, but he said, "Nah, get back in there. You're playing defense for us right here, son."
Nice play
Tigers go
again.
back to their misdirection to Arnold.
So he picks up about five yards, bring up 2nd down and 5 under 4 minutes remaining.
That play's kind of been their bread and butter all afternoon. Important for the Trojans there is the Tigers were not able to get out of bounds, so the clock continues to roll, and we're inside of 3:35 in the contest.
Big hit by number 13. That'd be Jalen Cato, and it'll be no gain on the play. Bring up 3rd down and 4. 3rd down and 4. But by the time they snap the ball, it's going to be under 3 minutes left.
You know, Cato played that exactly like his coach would want him to. He had outside containment with the edge set, didn't let him get around him. And then as soon as that running back planted his foot, so did Cato and made the hit.
Here it is, 3rd down and 4. Expect the handoff to Arnold on the underneath, which is where it is. That's what I saw coming, and they were written on it that time. And it'll bring up 4th down, and they get right back to the line of scrimmage. And Jenks was sitting on that play. They had said, okay, you're going to do it, you're going to do it. Sooner or later, we're going to stop it. And they did a good job staying at home. So here it is, 4th down and 4. I'm not going to say it's the ball game, but Richard Sayo seems to think this could be one of the big plays, and he calls a timeout with 4th down and 4 and 2:33 remaining in the ball game.
Which, as we talked about, they're sitting on this side, so that brings the Jenks Trojans fans to their feet. You can hear them get loud. And that'll give us the chance. We got just a short break in the action to talk about what's coming up next. And that's the TYAA Bulldogs taking on the Bixby Spartans. And it'll be my first time this season to work with Coach Lauren Montgomery, who you all know is the high school football coach here at Bixby. And I'd say the high school team from Bixby had their offense rolling last night.
Yeah, they've been playing very well. I've had 6 of their ball games this year. They're averaging almost 50 points a game. I think it's like 48. Last night was no difference, 49-0 before Lawton scored right before halftime. They've got to play, but the defense, counting last night through 11 games, has only given up 122 points in 11 games. When we all talk about offense, all over the United States, offense, they found a way to play defense here in Bixby.
You can't play defense anymore. Not in the high school level. I mean, it's 7-on-7, right?
It's what they seem to think. So Bixby seems to say it a little differently, and once again, they've held it not even averaging. I don't think it's 12. It's not even 12 points a game. So here we go, 4th down and 4. Look for them to draw them off sides. A couple long snaps here. If not, look for the fake handoff underneath to number 11. Oh, that a big hit by Cato in the backfield.
That's 2 plays in a row. Cato is showed out, but we do have a penalty on the play.
Penalties declined. It'll be a turnover on down.
Procedure on the Tiger offense, and as Richard so correctly pointed out, the Trojans will decline it. They're back on offense with 2:28 left, and barring a turnover, about 1 first down will do it.
Yeah, because they got 2 timeouts left, I still believe Broken Arrow does. So they can stop it twice. And here's the clock now. You do not have to snap the ball till 2:10.
Right.
2 minutes, 10 seconds. If you're running clock, if you're understanding what's going on, you're not snapping the ball till 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So let's see if they're paying attention. 3 seconds too early. You don't think that doesn't matter?
Well, it may not matter if he gets into the secondary.
Well, they've got that running
Jalen
game
Caddo
going.
not only can make tackles, we handed him the football, and he moved the chains first down. Will Ward.
Well, I'll tell you this. If they score a touchdown here, it's over. It's never over, but I'm a 95% sure it's over. Clock starts again. Do not have to snap the ball till 2 minutes and 42 seconds, or 1:42. They don't have to snap the ball. If those coaches are paying attention and telling him when to snap the ball, he don't have to snap the ball yet. He's looking over at him, and he's doing it right. He's got it down now.
Well, he's going to simply wait until the official
the quarterback's looking over at him.
Starts counting.
But see, someone moved. Right guard moved. They needed to set still, and they're not moving.
Which is, we even talk about it.
Just stay in your huddle.
But they talk about it in the pro level. It's hard for those linemen to hold that
But
position.
Does the clock start again?
No, it can't start now till the snap. To the outside, and guess who? Kayla Peterson inside the 5. Touchdown Trojans.
Big hitter right there off. Same play they've scored 3 times on, and Broken Arrow hasn't figured it out. Has had trouble figuring it out the whole ball game. I mean,
that young man's a difference maker.
Been the big difference maker.
So now the point after attempt, and the last time, if you'll remember, they went on a hard count on the first attempt and drew the Tigers offside. I'd look for them to try that again, although this extra point's not quite as...
It's still 2 scores.
Absolutely, and with only 1:28 left. And they got him again. Once again, Maddox Young comes to the line and uses a hard count, and on the first snap, for the first down, the Tigers jump off sides. And that'll move the ball up, as you said, inside the 1 yard line.
Nice way to set up that corner. That corner was on an island, on skates, on ice.
He gave him 1 step to the inside and knew that he had the speed to get around him, and he did. And that's something we talk about a lot on Saturdays when I'm just doing the games in the press box all by myself, or with somebody just running the clock, not on TV. Some of those things you can't hardly even coach. That's something that young man, he's kind of born with that 6th sense.
Yeah. And has a great run again, and now they're up 2 scores and 2 extra points.
So the Tigers,
once again, when we come back after this ball game, we'll have Lauren Montgomery will join Don up here in the box and do the play-by-play for the Bigsby 5th grade and the TYA team. And then we'll follow suit with the 6th grade Grove versus Claremore Sequoia. And then finish tonight, me and Coach Montgomery have the Bigsby versus Jenks 7th grade championship game at 8 o'clock.
Well, the Tigers' hope here has to be a return of this kickoff, and they have to take it to the house and then hope for an onside kick, because they simply don't have time for what they've kind of showed to this point is kind of a methodical ball control offense, and we don't have the time with 1:28 left in the final quarter to go on 2 drives, much less.
And And they get down to the 34-yard line. Nice coverage on the return for the Tigers.
Cooper Dahl.
33, Cooper Dahl. That'll be 1st and 10.
Broken Arrow offense will go back onto the field. 1st and 10.
They're going to spot the ball right at about the 35.
Nice kick by Smallwood again, as he's done a great job flipping field position.
Oh, yes, absolutely. One of the kicks, rolled all the way inside the 20, and then the Tigers turned it over shortly thereafter. And that's kind of been the difference in Jenks taking a commanding lead here.
Clock's running, under a minute 15 left. It's taking them 10 seconds to snap the ball.
Isaac Holt splits out. I thought maybe for a second the Tigers were going to go with the pass, but they'll come back with the run with their bread and butter, where they kind of hand it to the running back, and he hands it back to the receiver.
They're not in no hurry, because you would think they'd be
Cohen
calling timeout.
Miller.
They're 55 seconds and counting.
Cohen Miller made a nice play for the defense. Sparling Orr also across the front for the Trojans on defense. He'll be joined out there by Cade Hodges, as we try to mention as many of the players as we can. And the Tigers set up in the shotgun. No, they're still under center.
Now they're going to call a timeout. Well, they let 25 seconds, almost 25 seconds run off the clock before they burn that timeout.
What did you think? The only thing you could think was, were they not in the right formation to run the play that they called? Because why would you? That's one that'll kind of make you
scratch your head right there.
Absolutely.
Well, here we are, timeout, Broken Arrow, 32 seconds left. Broken Arrow's got to score, get the extra point, kick off, recover the kick, score, get the extra point. It can happen.
Well, you have to say it can, but I will say that it probably won't. I know, negative Nelly. Yep, negative Nancy.
Well, here we go, 2nd down and 9. Look for a pass play over here. Reverse. Tackled in the backfield. Nice job by number 10, Young. It stops him in the backfield, and that'll probably run it down, and that'll probably be it.
Maddox Young definitely was not fooled. He did what his defensive coach has probably been drilling him to do all season in practice, is stay home, young man, stay home.
They're going to call timeout.
Timeout on the field. Charge the Broken Arrow.
Now, and so they'll call timeout with 3 seconds remaining, down 14 points and down 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points.
Trojan team thought they could rush to the 50 to do the celebrating, but we've got 3 seconds to. And some people will maybe talking about, well, why would he do that? I can tell you one of the reasons why I might, as a coach. I want my kids to remember this, because he's got a great ball club. So he's planning on coming back. You know, he was here last year. It's a building process. I know Coach CO, he wants a championship just like all these other coaches. So might have been sending a message that, hey, this one was kind of right there for us to get, and we let it slip away.
Well, they can't have 2 guys on the line of scrimmage on the left side.
Wow.
Big hit.
That is one of those hits that just makes you say, wow. That was Jalen Cato that ended the play with, or ended the game with a play that was, well, the Jenks Trojans will be crowned the 4th grade INFC champion. And coming up next, We'll have Coach Montgomery up here with us as the TYAA Bulldogs will be taking on the Bixby Spartans. That will be your 5th grade affair as we watch the players make it through the line and say congratulations to each other. The Trojans are over here and they're getting ready to do what every young man wants to do today. They're getting ready to hold up a championship trophy. We talked about TYA and Bixby next. Then you'll have Sequoia Grove. And we'll wrap the day up with the Jenks Trojans and the Bixby Spartans in the 7th grade game. That one comes your way at 8 o'clock.
Talk to me. Tell me the atmosphere that these boys are feeling right now.
Oh, man, look at them. They're going crazy. We played hard, we did hard things, and we beat one of the best teams in here in the league. Yes, sir.
What did it take to get that win?
It caused them to focus every play and fight every play, and they did. They did what they're supposed to do.
What does this win mean to y'all?
What does it mean? Who's a champion? Yeah!
Congratulations.
Next up will be in the 5th grade. Will be the Bixby Spartans versus TYA Bulldogs. Stay tuned for that ball game. That'll be a barn burner as Bixby's played these guys a couple times in the finals. And that'll take us to the end of this game. Stay tuned as we'll come back with Coach Montgomery and Don Rice will be up here to take the 5th grade action here shortly.